All right, y'all, we got a lot to go over for the next week. There's a lot of auctions coming up. This is for August 11th through the 15th. We started originally with 343 auctions, guys. And you can see here, Wednesday. Wednesday is going to be a big one. Yeah, Wednesday. Okay. Wednesday's going to be a big one. Technically, this is all of the auctions that had come up since I first created the spreadsheet at the beginning of the month. This also includes things that are not land, like single family and things like that. So when we break it down just by the land auctions that are worth $5,000 or more in assessed value, so I've removed everything that is less than $5,000 for assessed value. I also removed anything that was really weird acreage, but this one had a really high assessed value in Sarasota, so we're going to take a look at that. But we do have some good stuff coming up. I've got a deal review that was requested in Lee, and then I've also got this one in Santa Rosa that looks pretty promising. It's 3 acres. We also have another one that's up at 102 acres. So very interesting. Some large parcels coming up. A lot in Marion County in one specific area, guys. So there's a lot of infill lots in Marion, and Marion is not too competitive. So if you are looking to jump in and just get some smaller deals, I would highly suggest you look at Marion as well. But without further ado, we're going to go down the line as far as the auction date goes. There's only one in Santa Rosa for Monday, and that is the one. It's about 74,000, 3 acres. Very interesting. One thing it did say is that this is agriculture. It's farming, tilling, plowing, harvesting, or related. So that's very interesting as well. Could have some good things coming there. I do have it up on the screen now, and we are looking at, we have a cropland class 1. So this is probably farming land, and I just want to make sure that there's nothing weird inside the legal description. I don't see anything spot on. Looks like, okay, so there is a building on this. There's a manufactured home on this. And it looks like it was a 1992, so this should be, 1997. So this should be pretty high, guys. I don't know that we're going to get in on this. We will take a look and kind of watch it, but I'm seeing, yeah, that's actually a home. There's a manufactured home back there. This is probably going to go pretty high, but we will watch it and we'll keep it on the radar. Next up we have Bay County. So guys, just want to let you know, so I've kind of added my own columns here. You are welcome to do the same with yours. I like to just add my notes. Once we go through and get some green, we'll go through some sold comps, and then what we're going to bid. And I always want to make sure to check flood and wetlands, okay? So those are the 2 things that you definitely want to check that are probably not going to pop up unless you physically look for them on the maps. Okay, so we got this one for Bay County. We have, this is really interesting. So it's an infill lot, 0.17 acres, very, very high end, $215,000 for land value. So this is probably waterfront, I'm assuming, and this is probably going to go pretty high. And whoever gets this, if they can get it at a good deal, it's going to be a game changer. I don't see anything different with the sales. So this is interesting. This does not look like a $200,000 piece of property to me, but if we zoom out, let's see. I can see this county specifically provides sales data, which is great, but I can see this is a house that went for $240,000. This is a house worth $500,000, $421. I don't see vacant land in here, at least the immediate area. So that's commercial, so we're not going to do commercial. So this one, I would say, is definitely in the green. We'll go ahead and mark it yellow to look at later, and we'll just move on so we can get through the whole list. But that's a good one if you want to run some due diligence on that. Okay, so now we have Flagler. Let me zoom in here so we can get a little closer look for you guys. There we go. I like to see my assessed value on the right. Flagler has 3 coming up, and 2 of them are almost the exact same amount, same infill. So this is they're probably right next to each other, same neighborhood. And then we've got one for 8,800, but it's 2.5 acres, guys. So that's interesting to me. So we'll go ahead and start with this first one, 47 Radcliffe Drive. And you can see it's worth 54. I don't see anything different. Nothing to catch an eye. So let's check out the map. And there we go. That's a stereotypical, beautiful infill lot. I do see a lot of vacant lots around here, so I'm a little concerned about that this isn't just all filled in with beautiful houses yet. But this is a good area. And I think this would definitely be good on our property list, so we'll go ahead and flag it with yellow. Okay, we've got our next one at 30 Underwick Path. I think this is probably the same neighborhood, to be honest with you guys. Let's just double check and see our map. So Underwick Path, yep, there we go. It's right against this. So I think the property we just looked at was this one possibly, and this is on almost the block away. So these are good. So if these go up, those will be good to do. And then we've got one more in Flagler that we're going to check out. Let's see, this one is just says Hastings, Florida. Okay, so there's no address. This is the one that has a few acres, really low assessed value, guys. It's concerning to me. So this right here screams wetlands. This screams flood zone. This screams wetlands. Notice nobody's built anything around it. Looks like there's maybe some guy that decided to want to be a hermit and build right there. And yep, there we go. So we've got our girl. So this value says $7,000. So I don't even know if this is a house or somebody built something different. I don't like this one. There's probably a ton of these for sale, guys. Probably a dime a dozen in this neighborhood. I really don't like it. We'll move on. And we'll mark that one red and move on to Indian River. And we've got these two in Indian River. Both of them look really promising, guys. This one's over half an acre, and this is 100. This is our biggest one so far. I already know we're going to mark that yellow, and that's definitely worth taking a look. But we'll go ahead and start with a smaller property. And I see this is vacant residential, 0.61, about 40,000. So it's zoned agriculture, which is interesting. Usually agriculture is more of a broad term that you can do more things with. It doesn't mean specifically you have to farm there or anything like that. I see a warranty deed for $60,000. But again, this could be a warranty deed from a bigger property that got split. So just because it says $60,000 doesn't mean that's what they paid for that specific lot. Okay, just keep that in mind. So let's go ahead and check it out on the map. And this looks great. There is a really nice, looks like a double home or some sort of farming. Yep. So there's a little bit like farming land around here. I really like this one. Indian River's great. I really like Indian River for liens as well. But right now we're just talking deeds. So there's some development over here. So this one's good. I think we're going to be looking at that one later. And then we've got another, this is our 100-acre one. So we can actually see the land value. Holy crap. Our land value actually went down though, which is interesting, and I don't know why. So our land value in 2020 was $870,000. Then it went up to $1 million, and now it went back down to $695,000. I don't know why that is. That's very interesting. So our assessed value became lower. This might have been a split off. Okay, so cleared for PLT LD citrus. So it's probably a citrus farm. Looks like grapefruit, citrus. So somebody is already farming on this, guys. This is very, very high likely that this is going to get redeemed. So I'll just put it that way. So we don't want to spend too much time on this. I'm probably thinking this is going to get redeemed, but we'll go ahead and mark it on our spreadsheet as a good one to check out. And we're moving on to Lee County. Okay, so Lee County has a few coming up. Normally they have quite a few more. Lehigh Acres is the major one in there. Lee is pretty competitive. It's not as competitive, in my opinion, as Charlotte. So Charlotte has a whole bunch of subdivisions and infill lots that get picked up constantly by other people, sold for seller financing dirt cheap. Lee is another one, Lehigh Acres. I actually got something in Lehigh Acres last week. And that's only because it was over 1 acre. Okay, so it matched my threshold of making a minimum of $10,000. I'll probably make closer to maybe $20,000 to $30,000 on that property. And you can see here, it's actually like 4 or 5 properties, infill lots that are in one side. Now we are trying to determine if this is technically waterfront because we don't know who owns this back here, which is a whole nother video I'll be making later. But so this is Lehigh Acres, guys, and you'll see like some people will just drop a house in the middle of one of these infill lots, or a developer will come and actually build a little subdivision. So this is Lehigh Acres, and I don't like buying anything less than like half an acre in Lehigh Acres. And I just want to point out on the screen that just popped up, this is the wetlands map, guys. Okay, so this is another reason why I say double check the wetlands. Okay, that means all of these people that bought these properties over here may or may not be able to develop. Okay, so just keep that in mind. And this first one here is actually requested from one of the members. They wanted to know how much this would be worth. So this is a half an acre. Okay, so this one right here is half an acre. We're assessed at 30,000. We're off to a good start. I do see some access, but it kind of stops. You know, you get like a dirt road right here. I wouldn't be too worried about that. I think that's still good. It gives privacy to the buyer. Looks like this is a drainage here, so we definitely want to check out our flood zones and our wetlands map. But this is kind of that part of Lehigh Acres that is larger lots. Okay, these are probably 1.25 acre lots. This is a good part. I like this, but again, it's a really, really small lot. And this person right next to you is probably the same owner. Nope. Okay, so we have Omad and Howard. Okay, so very interesting that you don't have anybody building on these yet. But like I said, you can take that with a grain of salt. But we can go ahead and run some quick comps on this and see what it might be worth. So this first one here is actually requested by one of my members for a deal review. So we're going to go a little bit more intricate into this one, just to be on the safe side in case they are bidding for it. So I see that's probably like a double infill lot. So that's why most of Lehigh Acres is around 0.25. This one's 0.5. So that looks good. I don't see anything wrong with that. I just want to go through some of these. The values are good. You can see the just market value is actually going up to 43 from 29. So our property will say 29 because this is the 2024 taxes, guys. They have not sent out the 2025, so the update in the database is not there yet. So we are almost jumping. We are almost doubling in value according to the property appraiser. So that's really, really good. I can see there's nothing built on it so far. I just want to skim through all these and make sure that we're good. And all right, so let's just go ahead and go to our Google Maps. I just want to see first. I'll put in an overlay here and see if there's wetlands, because that worries me when that pops up that there might be wetlands. And this is just Google Earth Pro, guys. I'll drop it down here. You can download this. This is the desktop version of Google Earth Pro. They have a desktop version, which is basically like Google Maps on crack. And then you can also download, I have like a flood smart map you can get from FEMA, and then also a wetlands map that you can get from the wetlands website. So this is KMZ, KML files. I know that doesn't mean a lot to a lot of people, but if you're familiar with it, it's available. If not, it's not a big deal. We can find other ways of looking up stuff. But to me, this is the quickest way, and we're going to go with it. Already I can see this is like a really good property. There's spots filled in with houses, things like that. I just want to double check my wetlands map. So I'm going to turn it off on the left side and turn it back on, and make sure you uncheck 3D buildings. Okay, the map actually goes underneath the 3D buildings layer, so sometimes you miss it if there's tall trees. It's kind of interesting, but just make sure you take that off. So I do see wetlands here. Let me go ahead and uncheck this first one, and there we go. So right here is very interesting, guys. So there are wetlands supposedly right, oh, there you go. So let me take off that layer and you can see exactly what I'm talking about. Okay, so there's the wetlands right there. So I just want to make sure ours is not in, but just to double check, let's get our flood map on there. I think we're probably pretty good, yeah. So low to moderate risk area. We can also go back to our spreadsheet and check. There's a flood column in our spreadsheet. So Lee doesn't provide that information, that data through. I think this is good, guys. I think this is really good. Let's go ahead and check on our comps, and we'll go from there. Now, Lehigh Acres is really big. We're going to start with this zip code and just see if we can find our property first. So our property is right down here. When I zoom out, I can see Lee Boulevard right here, so I can kind of estimate that with where we are going. I think ours, there we go. So ours is right here. Let's just go ahead and pull that over and look at it. We are on 17th Street. Okay. I just right next door that is sold. You know, that's going to really help us. Okay, so we're on 10th Street and Ida Avenue. 10th Street and Ida Avenue. So we are over by the I's. They did name this kind of interesting. So it's a grid system. If you're not familiar with that, it's you know, numbers ranging down, and then I guess they're doing alphabetical, going east to west. So our property is right chair. Okay, so right there. So let's go ahead and center that, and then I'm gonna zoom out. I don't see anything directly. Let's go land only. So this is everything. We'll break it down first. All right, so I do see a couple things for sale, 29, 39. Let's go to sold, because really sold is what we want. That's our last comparison of the last 6 months. And we do have some popping up. So remember, our property is right here. This is 345. That's a house, guys. That's a house that was sold. This is 28, 32, 32, 31, 28. Okay, so these are all looking really good. I'm going to zoom out and just get kind of a few of these, and I think they're all about the same price. Okay, so let's just make sure that the price per acre, because remember ours is actually a double lot. Okay, so I zoomed out a little bit. This is our neighborhood. I'm totally confident with these comps, and I will zoom down to download all. And what I have is my raw file. So I'm going to go ahead and select everything and pull it into my Pro Comp Analyzer, which is available in the 30-day D-Dash to all the elite members that are looking for it. And I'm going to go ahead and make a copy because we don't want to write over our original. And let's label it 33976. Bam. All right, guys, so I'm going to go ahead and drop it in my sale column here. And everything comes up for me already, but I missed putting in my purchasing lot size. Okay, let's just double check with the county to make sure we have the right size. And I think that was actually a question of how do you determine the size on Lee County, because it may be, yeah, they only show lots. Okay, so you have one unit, one lot. So if you ever come across a county that doesn't have a measurement, you can go over to Google Earth Pro. If you do have this downloaded, you can go up here to this little polygon, and I can kind of make and kind of estimate, you know, where this lot is. And I know this is not perfect, guys, but you can go up here, you can go to measurement, and then area of acreage. So we're at 0.6 acres, so that aligns with the acreage that we have on our database, so 0.5, 0.6. I would go off of this. This is the data county information, okay? So we're gonna go with a half an acre for our comps. All right, so once I punch in half an acre, you can see we have our purchasing lot value. So that is taking the per acre price, okay, of this specific comp. So each comp has its own row, all right? So each comp has its own row. This is saying that for 0.25 acres, they're paying $27,000, which ours is double, okay? So their price per acre is 111, so ours would double the 27 at 55,556, okay? One thing to note, it's very interesting, there are not, let me go ahead and get rid of these so we can make it all pretty. There are not a lot or any double lots. Okay, so what you can do with this really, and what I would do with this is probably just split it, okay, and then you can sell it for a little bit more each, or you can just try to sell it really quickly to one person that wants 2 lots. What we're gonna do is we can zoom out and we can actually add the acreage as 0.5 acres to 1 acre, okay? And now we'll see what our competition is. So this is our competition here. All right, going into here, we have Lehigh Acres 33976. So you can see ours is going for around 45. Let's just go ahead and download this and make sure we got our exact amounts. Okay, so these are the ones that are at least half an acre up to 1 acre. And we'll go ahead and drop these back in our Pro Comp Analyzer. And what I'll do is just go to the down to the bottom, and I can just add one row, and then it'll add itself. So I'm going to paste this, and you'll see it added them here, but I still need to add these formulas. Okay, if you highlight the last formula, you'll see this blue dot pop up. Grab that, click it, and hold it, and drag it down, and your formulas will come down with you. Okay, so now that we have that, if we just look at ours are pretty much the same. These are all half acres. Okay, so I know, and actually these sold real close. You know, these are less than 90 days old. I know that I can at least get this amount. Okay, so my average for this is about $50,000. Okay, so that's pretty good. If we go back to the 0.25, let's just see 0.25. So some of them sold really cheap. Okay, let me do this. Let's get on clear. And 27. So if I go off of these, okay, I've got everything. I'll take rid of these. Everything from 15,000 to 66,000. So again, my average is $52,000. Okay, so I'm doing pretty good. There's not a big difference between these two. So with that said, I would definitely be confident in bidding on this. I would definitely go with these comps here first. Let's clear this and do our 0.5, 0.51. You know, you've got everything from 44 to 59. Okay, so there's your sell price. You want to add like another 10 to 15% on top of that as the for sale value. So let's just go ahead and look at the for sale and see what our actual competition is. So we've got our for sale. Make sure you add under pending, and we're going to download all. We're going to go ahead and copy all of these, and again we're going to go back to our Pro Comp Analyzer. These are my sold, guys. I have sold down here in purple. I have a for sale tab as well, so you can keep these separate because they're going to be different comps. Okay, But the purchasing lot size, I went ahead and updated this. This is version 2. Version 1 did not have this updated, so you do not need to add it in both tabs. Okay, the acreage for your property automatically adjusts. So with that said, we have for sale, not that many, guys. Okay, so competition is looking really good as far as having to list this. Let me just get rid of these, make it pretty. There. Okay, so we've got 0.5. Obviously, these are kind of all over the place, right? So our purchasing lot value should be the same. Should be around the same, which it is. So I have 2, okay, that are really, really cheap. I want to know what's going on with those. So let's check those out. We have 22,999. Okay. All right, we've got this one. It looks fine. This looks like a great lot. Okay, dry parcel, solid foundation. I don't see anything wrong with this property. They just listed it. Okay, so this is probably going to sell super fast. They just listed it. I don't know why it's so cheap. That's kind of crazy. Yeah, there we go. Pending. It's already pending, guys. They listed this for half the price. They probably made a rookie mistake and thought, you know, all the lots of the infill lots of this property location are going for this amount, so I'm going to go ahead and list it, not realizing that they have a double property. So rookie mistake. Glad that they are getting, hopefully they're getting their money back out of the purchase. So return on investment is what I mean. So let's check out the other one for 23,000, and that's another one for 23,000. Okay, so this is an odd property. This is saying it's half an acre vacant lot. So they just listed this for 24 hours, and again, we're pending. We're already pending. Okay, so we automatically know that we can sell our property for 25,000, right? We don't want to sell it for 25,000. We want to sell it for 50,000. So if we take that into account, our competition is going to be 69 to 99, guys. This is really good. I think you could easily sell this for 45, 50,000 all day long. I'd probably list it right under 69. I'd probably list it around like 65, 59, and then get your money's worth out of that. So with that said, I'm going to go to my Pro Comp Analyzer, and I'm going to say minimum I get 45,000 for this, okay? So this is available to anybody with my Elite membership. I give this away in the 30-day D-Dash program, and you can see our example template so you can see how things go. But I'm going to do it for this one because this was specifically requested by one of the members. I'm going to do projected sale price 45,000. My agent charges me 8% because we do high volume together. A lot of them will do 10%. So let's err on the side of caution, 10%. Okay, so my commission is going to be 4,500. My title clearance is going to be about 2,000. I know that for a fact with tax title services. That does not change. Title insurance and doc stamps is always going to be 1.28%. That's why it's filled in for you. Additional closing costs, they can range anywhere from $700 to like $2,000. I estimate an average of about $1,200 on the safe side. Okay. We don't know if this has any liens yet. We also don't know, I don't think we're going to need any demo repairs cleanup, so let's just go ahead and put 0 in there. And we want our minimum profit of $10,000, right? We don't want to get out of bed for anything less than $10,000. So assuming this doesn't have any liens, our max bid amount is going to be about $26,000, okay, 26,700. So let's go ahead and check and see if there are any liens just to double check. So here we can go into our Florida deed directory. Again, I've been updating this quite often, pretty much every few days. I'll add something. I've added quite a few columns as far as like the deposit, the payment, things like that, wire transfer info. So as those come available, I've been adding them for you guys. But I just want to check and see if Lee offers an online search, and I kind of know that they do. So I go to my county provided title search column. I can see right here I have my URL directly, and I can search by case number. So I'll go back, I'll grab my case number from my sheet, and we'll be able to look at all the documents. So this is different than the public search, guys. This is specifically tax deeds in this one. And they're going to give us all of the documents that the county has had to go through, provide, notarize, stamp, all that fun stuff. So the county does pretty much everything for you, which is great. That's why I love Florida. So I'm going to go here to my documents. And our redemption amount is probably going to be the opening bid, so about $2,500. That's not bad. And one thing I did add is a column called the county title search document. Okay, just so you guys don't have to go through, because sometimes there's a few dozen different documents. This one specifically is tax deed document, and it's usually the second link. With that said, I have more than one page. Okay, so it's on chronological order. Lee County does that. So tax deed document, this is the first one, and hopefully the second one. Yep, boom, right there. So we're going to open this up, and there's our title search. That's how easy it is, guys. So title search, really all we care about is the liens. Okay, really don't give a crap about anything else, just the liens. So I don't see a mortgage, doesn't matter anyways. We do have one lien. Okay, we have one lien, Lee County Developed Service Code Enforcement. That is one we are going to need to look up and make sure that it is really, really low, or at least, paid off or whatever. So now what we can do is, normally they will provide a copy of these within the title search. For some reason the Lee does not. They actually do it in the first tax deed document, which will include like our all of our deeds and all of the documentation found. Okay, so what's interesting is this actually was a tax deed back in 2016. For whatever reason, this person is not paying it, so it may or may not go to auction. But what we care about right now is the lien. There we go. Hearing exam order acknowledging correction of violation. Okay, so that's a good sign. And we can see, if we read through all of this, we can basically see the code enforcement provided evidence that the violation was corrected. However, the respondent must pay Lee County the $100 in prosecution costs. Woo! Okay, so you have $100 in liens. All right, that's not a big deal at all. If anything, you got probably some interest rates on there. We'll just call it 200 and call it a day. Okay, so that just barely knocks us down our max bid amount. For this one, it's going to be about 26.5. So whatever you're comfortable with bidding on, that's what I would say is safe for this property. Now that one's good. If you look, we also have we have one in Cape Coral. The rest are in Lehigh Acres. We just went through and saw that we can only sell these for about $25,000. So I'm gonna go ahead and mark these in red because they are not gonna give us our minimum. Cape Coral is the holdout, and we can check that one real quick to make sure that that may be worth something. Cape Coral is a little bit higher end than Lehigh Acres, even though they're in the same area. So when I first see this, it looks like a lot of somebody's cleared this. When I open up the map, guys, this is not good. Okay, yeah, you got people building here, but man, there is no greenery. There's nothing. I don't like this at all. I'm not excited about this. If you want to bid on it, go for it, but it's one that I would probably pass on. You can even see most of the houses are on double lots, and this one is not, so I would pass on this one. Next in line, we have one for Okaloosa. I can already tell this is not going to be worth it. We have a $6,500 assessed value, 0.11 acres. I just know this area is not that great. I'm not going to worry about that one. It's not going to render a lot. We have Volusia. We have two that are... This is very interesting. We have 10 acres almost and 5 acres, but the assessed value is not there. So let's just double check. They're probably junk properties. We always want to make sure that we're not going to miss anything, because again, the assessed value is just a starting point. It could be much higher. Like this could be agricultural land that's actually just taxed at 5 or 10%, and it's actually worth like $50,000. So let's just double check and make sure. Nope, this does not look pretty. So this is in the middle of a forest, guys, and you can see some people are actually, that is our entire lot. Somebody has built something on the lot, and it is real, guys, that there are so I don't know, guys. This could be something interesting. Let's check the values. I see right here subsurface rights. That just caught my eye. So just make sure if you don't have the rights, if the rights are split, there's not going to be some issue with that. In Florida, it's not too big of a deal, but if you're in somewhere that has like oil, limestone, I mean, Florida has a lot of limestone. There you go. Looks like a factory of something. Actually, it could be a quarry right there, to be honest with you. So let's just see. We've still got $6,500 in land value. I don't know why it's so low, but if the county is marking it that low, they know something that I don't. Okay, so let's just mark that one. I'm gonna mark that one in red. It's not gonna be worth it. This is another one. So this is Ormond Beach, which is a different area. And again, we have something very similar. I don't see anything with the legal description, but again, we have our assessed value of like $5,000. There's probably a swamp. This is probably swampland, maybe even wetlands. I don't see access to it, so we're definitely going to pass on the two in Volusia this month. This week, coming week. Before we jump into Marion, I just want to kind of go through these couple small ones. So Palm Beach, this looks like the same area. Let me just check this. I want to see what these 0.08 infill lots are going for on Redfin. So this is interesting, guys. We have a lot of different variations. So obviously this is close to the water. Okay, let's just double check and see. This is our old property, where we're at with these. Okay, so this one, it looks like this is a mobile home next door, probably, and this person's just putting their junk on it. We have vacant residential. So this is probably why this is so low. So even though, you know, our zip code looks really good, it could be something totally different. Let's check out the map and see where it is actually at. So this is actually right in a neighborhood that we looked at earlier from, I believe, last week or the week before. So our Redfin comps are up here. This property is actually down here. It's, and I lost it. Belgraham. Okay, there we go. So we have a lot of waterfront area, and then we have this right here. So what I'm going to do is filter it, excuse me, from the acres. Let me grab my square footage. So my square footage is 3396. It's very small, guys. So I'm going to take everything from, say, like 45,000, 4,500 and less. I have nothing. Okay, I've got nothing. That's really weird. Let's do a sold comp within the last year. And now you can see we have a few. So we had one sold about a year ago exactly for 16,000. We've got one for 8,500. This is probably a house. This is 45,000. Not sure, that one might be worth a little bit more. But let's open it up to the 6,500 mark. Okay, so that doesn't get us much more. I really don't like this one, guys. I don't get a good feeling about it. And this is a really small area for somebody to be building inside of. So we're going to go ahead and pass on those two because I think the other one is right next door too as well. So next we have Putnam County. I can see Interlochen, Crescent City, Palatka. They're only worth $8,000, $9,000, and $11,000 for 1 acre. I just know this area. You can get these for a dime a dozen all day long. They're not going to be worth our time. So I'm going to go ahead and pass on Putnam. We have Hillsboro left. Hillsboro is a good county, and you can see our appraised value is much higher. We have one that's really, really small. That's probably an infill lot. Yet they're all in Tampa. These are all good, guys. I don't even have to look at these. I know that these would be good to go ahead and comp if we want to later on. And then Okeechobee, let me break that down, and we'll get Okeechobee going. And what's interesting is this is probably all one neighborhood. Looks like it's probably all in the exact same neighborhood, same zip code. If I scroll over, I can see the legal description. And yeah, it's pretty much all the same neighborhood. So if we look up one, we should be able to look up the others. And we'll just go from there. Make our life a lot easier. That's disappointing. It's really disappointing. I don't like these at all, guys. Look, there's nobody building here. If you wanna buy these really, really low, and it looks like probably ATV trails, things like that. I know there's a lot in this area that people can kind of buy and do what they want with, but that's not our forte. We're gonna pass on everything in Okeechobee this round. Pasco. This is one that we had looked at earlier. I don't know why I highlight. Oh, commercial. That's why. So I originally highlighted it in yellow for commercial just to check it out. So we'll go ahead and take a peek at that one. And I'm not super confident that this is anything because it is only an $8,000 value. I see vacant commercial. It's a very small property. Let's see if we can find the map on it. Oof, guys, that's so gross. So this is. I think I looked this up before. This is like the back of a junkyard, so we're definitely going to pass on that, guys. We don't want to buy junk, literally. No junk or junkyards. So the rest here are kind of at that threshold where it's like under 10,000. I just know Pasco has a lot of junk, guys, and I can already tell, like Moonlake Estates, it doesn't even have a number on it. I'm going to pass on all of these. If you want to look these up yourselves, that's fine. There's one that's 0.7 acres. This may be worth looking at, but again, we're completely vacant land, so I'll just show you. You know, there's no infrastructure or utilities that are brought up to that. Like, I just know this area. I'm just going to tell you with expertise that it's probably going to be junk properties. And there you go. Okay, so there's your junk property. Okay, that's why we're going to pass on all of Pasco. Nothing good to see here. And we're left with Sarasota. They have two interesting. So one is 9,600 for 0.22 acres. That's an infill lot. This one is 0.02 acres for 37,000. So it's kind of a opposite review of pricing there. And let's just see what our first one is. Okay, so this says at Zoning Activity Center. I'm not sure what exactly would be there. Let's see if anything is on it by now. The owner, Land for Sale USA LLC. Good name. This is good, guys. I mean, these are all little info lots. I wonder if we have a overlaid. Let's see if we can have an overlay of sales. Maybe we'll find something in the neighborhood. Yes, and this does have sales residential. Look at that. And I already forgot where our property was. All right, there we go. So we're right next to these two. Okay, so our property is this one right here, right in the middle of your screen. Across the street went for 7,600, 12,000, 15,000. Yep, it's a dud, guys. We're not bidding on that one. This next one here, this is the interesting one, and maybe it'll get a little bit more exciting. Okay, so we have residential single family, a little bit different. Let's see, our land value is about 41,000 by now. Oh, that's disappointing. Very disappointing. So I don't even know why it's priced this high. I know this is probably in like a really nice neighborhood in Sarasota County, but you know, seriously, guys, you've got this one here, and then this is basically like an easement. This is condo association owners. I would also question why the HOA owns this. That's very that's a huge red flag, guys. Look, I'll just put it that way. All right, so with that said, we've got red, red, red. We've got all of Marion still, but just to show you guys, okay, so our color code we will go with is we've narrowed it down to 10. Okay, 9 plus the green, 10. Because we already did that. We already comped that, looked at it. It's good to go. So let's go ahead and get to Marion County now. And you can see just by the city, okay? So if we just even sort the city, we've got Bellevue. Bellevue's a good area. Citra's a decent area. Denellen is definitely, it's hit or miss. There's like North Denellen, South Denellen. But depending on where you're at, you know, these could be good lots. Fellowship. Fort McCoy is okay. It does not land a lot of value unless you have higher acreage. And then Ocala, this looks like pretty much all the same, at least these last few here. And Umatilla, I'll just put it, let's just mark off Umatilla. Okay, not the greatest area you want to sell in. So yeah, the best ones right here, assessed value. These three, Fort McCoy, Fellowship, Ocala, these might be a little different. They're all over half an acre. I would say those are a good pick if you want to look at those a little bit more. These other ones here, they're all the same infill lots. I don't have a good feeling that any of these are going to be worth it, but certainly you can go ahead and try maybe these two in Fellowship. But again, Fellowship is just one of those areas that's kind of hit or miss. So, so there you have it, guys. We have everything from this upcoming week, and we do have quite a few that kind of got the okay to learn more about. So go ahead and feel free to jump in there, check these out. I have a good feeling about these. There's about 12 of them. We have another 13th one in Lee that we already did. And that's it, guys. So good luck. If you're bidding this week, please let me know. Drop in the comments if you have any questions about this video. Again, all this information, all this stuff, I do this every week for all of my members. You know, if you're interested to learn more, you can go to floridataxinvestors.com. You can see all the plans available starting at like 97 bucks. You can get this information, guys, all of my top picks, things like that. If you're still on the fence, if you had some questions, if this is the first time you're hearing about tax deeds, you can go to floridataxinvestors.com/21 questions. That's 21 questions. And you can go ahead and get my free guide. Answers a lot of the questions I've been asked over and over again, and gets you kind of pumped up for your first auction. Okay, so that's what we're all about, guys, right? If you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the comments, and I'll see you on the next one.